Hello and welcome everyone back to another Steam Deck review. Today I'll be talking about a very popular roguelike based game on Greek mythology that recently saw a sequel in Hades 2 release. This action roguelike, being critically acclaimed upon release both by critics and gamers alike, have been on my radar for a while, and while I'm a big fan of roguelikes personally, everything I had heard about this game seemed right up my alley, but like many other games that receive endless praise, I was a bit skeptical to play, as of course anything that has high expectations to live up to, disappointment can easily be found inside. Thankfully, that isn't the case here, and I came away pleasantly surprised both by its interesting and deeper than expected narrative, and some really good combat with a nice array of weapons to pick from, and the roguelike system in place that gives a healthy dose of randomness to each run, and avoids an issue many roguelikes suffer from, be the RNG sometimes ruining runs or just leading to poor outcomes that can really just kill the desire to keep playing. So as always, we'll be discussing the story, gameplay, and performance on Steam Deck, giving the game a score out of 10 at the end. So let's begin. So just to give a quick rundown of the story before I talk about spoilers, for those of you who haven't played yet, you are Zagreus, the prince of the underworld, son of Hades. You no longer wish to be in the underworld and set out to escape by ascending the 3 levels of the underworld in Tartarus, Asphodel, and Elysium. Along the way, you will face a great number of enemies, bosses, and all the while you will be aided by Nyx, mother of the fates, and the gods of Olympus themselves, who in your quest to escape will be sending you boons which act as upgrades to increase your capabilities and give you new powers. Through your attempts to escape, you will unravel a mystery surrounding the disappearance of the Queen of the Underworld, how it relates to you, and what to do about it. You also will meet a number of side characters who have their own stories to unravel and even help with if you so choose. There are also some romantic interests you can pursue if interested in that kind of thing, and overall befriending characters that can lead to rewards and upgrades of sorts of their own. Alright, with all that out of the way now, let's talk spoilers. And if you don't want to hear any, skip to this time step in the video. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's talk spoilers then. So the main storyline involving Zag's mom was far more interesting than I thought it would be. That being said, I also felt like the amount of times you had to actually reach her was purposely elongated unnecessarily. Like, you'd barely get 2 sentences in and then you'd end up dying. And it would really piss me off because Persephone herself would make it just seem like you guys have all the time in the world. Like, she lacked any presence of mind to speak quickly, let alone be clear about the stuff she was trying to tell you. So it just pissed me off that there was everyone was just being super evasive about things, and the one person who you're supposed to be seeking out and finding out the truth through, they themselves are being fucking mysterious, and it was pissing me off to no end. Like, the fact that there's just no urgency at all was just super annoying. That aside, the backstory to it all really did wrap up nicely with her coming back, and even Hades himself being purposely obscure about things and stuff and dropping hints every time you faced him was nice. Also, hands down, my favorite encounter with him was when he was having a small monologue about a stupid fish that was just staring at him, and then he goes on to tell Zag he's going to stab him with his spear and then stab the fish. Like, what the fuck? That fish doesn't even know what it's doing. You're getting rage baited by it, and it's not even trying to. That was hilarious. I do think the epilogue stuff, while with confronting the gods about the deception of it all, takes way too long to get to. Frankly, I didn't even get to that part because I was doing so many runs over and over and over again, and I didn't really feel like I was doing a whole lot. Like, the fact that you have to quote-unquote befriend them through the nectar, it's like, okay, that's cool and all of that, but nectar isn't the easiest thing to find in the world, and even then, you still have to do so many offerings to them. It's like, all right, bro, y'all got it. You guys are going so far out of your way to try to make more hours into this game, and that they did it in the worst possible way. The side stories with Cepheus, Achilles, and Nyx are cool enough, I suppose, and at least they are to start, but again, they're also not very direct with you about what they're trying to do, and they take overly long to get into and develop. Also, personally, I found the gay storylines kind of cringe, but I mean, that's Greek mythology, so I guess I can't really be surprised. And it's just a footnote, really. I chose to get Zag with Meg back together, too, if any of you guys are curious about that. Also, King Theseus is fucking hilarious. I always love meeting with him. Moving on over to gameplay now, let's break it down to 3 different parts, being the weapons you can choose from, the boons, and the mirror. So starting off with the weapons, you have a sword, shield, bow, spear, fists, and a gun essentially, all having their own unique advantages and drawbacks such as range, attack speed, damage, and so on. These weapons also have hidden aspects about them that can be revealed in the later part of the games to permanently increase unique stats to them alongside general attack and attack speed upgrades, which also modifies how they look and makes references to other mythological and historical characters. Each weapon having 3 different upgrades and a 4th mystic upgrade that's unique to it itself, and it alters the run and how you go about it. The changes moving forward can be anything from altering health levels to movesets and so on. So now in regards to the boons, they are essentially gifts from the Greek gods bestowed upon you that do everything from increasing damage, damage resistance, adding elemental aspects to your attacks, and of course increasing your stats overall. When you find a boon, it will be directly linked to one of the big gods such as Ares, Zeus, Poseidon, Hermes, and so on. Each of the gods have their own specific boons to offer, and you will have the chance to pick one of 3 different upgrades. Also, not all boons are equal, as there are different rarities going by common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, which is often a combination of 2 different gods combining their powers to give you a unique boon. Each level of the underworld will have you go through a series of rooms like a dungeon crawler, where after every time you clear a room, you will be bestowed upon a reward, whether it be boons, money, or other things that you can use to buy from shops, darkness, which is used to upgrade yourself back in the hub area, and gemstones that are used for extracurricular stuff, max health boosts, and so on. Lastly, we have the Mirror of Darkness. Every time you die, you will go through the halls and eventually make your way back to your room where there's a mirror that Nyx has placed for you to use. So any darkness that you collect through your runs, you'll be able to use to upgrade yourself permanently, such as giving yourself extra re-rise, increasing max health, damage done, and so on. All very standard stuff. I'm sure you all know how it works, so I won't bore you with the details. So lastly now, let's talk about how Hades runs on the Steam Deck. Rated as Steam Deck Verified, it runs perfectly smooth. Some loading screens take an extra second here and there, and I will say there are a number of loading screens as a whole, as every time you enter a new room, the screen cuts to black and the game decides what layout to put out there and how to load in enemies, how many they're going to be, and so on. It only really takes a second though. I didn't have to modify any settings to get the game to run as it did, and thankfully I experienced 0 bugs, crashes, or input lag. The game never got overwhelmed by what was on screen, and I never had any frame drops or freezing either. 100% smooth experience. All in all, I would say my biggest complaint about the game are some minor pacing issues with the story, as I felt the game was artificially inflated to increase its runtime, though its saving grace in that respect is that it has more than stellar gameplay. Same thing with the side stories that you can find along the way. They take overly long to reveal / unravel. The game does a poor job at telling you certain things, like how or even when you can reveal the hidden aspects of weapons. I just kind of happened to stumble upon it by chance. While there are definitely no meta builds, the game has a number of boons that I found to be straight up useless, or on the other hand, they were overpowered in a good way. I also felt some of the endgame challenges with the Pact of Pain stuff, which are extra challenges you have to inflict upon yourself in order to receive certain rewards you basically can't get otherwise. So you can keep upgrading your weapons, and so on. They felt overly harsh, such as shop items costing 40% more, enemies having 20% more health, 15% increase in damage and attack speed from enemies, and so on. It may not sound like a lot, but in order to keep receiving special materials that you need to upgrade the hidden aspects of weapons and other things, you basically have to keep stacking them on top of each other one on one. So the kitchen can get pretty hot pretty quick, and it just kind of makes it annoying. Again, these are minor things that are wrong with the game in my opinion, and they really only come into play when you're just trying to wrap everything up, whether that be the epilogue, wrapping up side stories, collecting all the charms, or finding all the secrets in the game. It's all incredibly done well, again, aside from minor issues. So after 51.8 hours played at the time of this review, and 29 out of 49 achievements unlocked, I would give Hades an easy 9 out of 10. Go buy the game now, it's really good, and I have to imagine the second game is probably more of the same. But with that being said, it's time to the end of the video. Thank you all for joining me here again with another episode of Backlog Reviews on the Steam Deck. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, opinions you want to share, whatever the case may be, leave it down in the comment section down below. I will see you all there, respond to everyone. Thank you once again for joining the video. Have a nice night, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, one more time.